Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving deep into unexplained ancient construction. Massive stones, intricate structures, civilizations way ahead of their time, or so it seems. And get this, we're exploring it all through remote viewing.
We'll be looking at some really interesting findings from expert remote viewers, comparing that to archaeological discoveries, and diving into theories that might just make you rethink what you thought you knew about the past.
Okay, so picture this. Massive blocks of stone, perfectly cut, fitted together, creating structures that have stood for millennia. How did they do that? That's what we're going to delve into. And we'll start with the biggest head-scratcher of them all, the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Yeah, the granddaddy of ancient mysteries. It's captivated imaginations for centuries, and for good reason. Its scale, the precision, and its purpose, which is still debated, it's spawned countless theories. But remote viewing, this offers us a fresh perspective, maybe even a glimpse into the minds of those who built it.
And we have these accounts from multiple remote viewers, all blind to the target, describing its construction and purpose. And let me tell you, the results are mind-blowing. They describe these beings, they call them Lebewesen, operating on a platform, experiencing weightlessness, controlled movement, almost like they were using some kind of advanced, technology or something.
It's true. Several viewers independently reported these experiences, sensing a level of technological sophistication that really challenges our conventional understanding of ancient Egypt.
So, if these Lebewesen weren't humans, what were they? Did the viewers get any sense of where they came from or what their purpose was?
The viewers focus more on their actions and the sensations they were experiencing rather than their specific appearance. Some thought they could be humans using advanced tech, while others sensed a different kind of intelligence at work, something we may not fully grasp.
Okay, now we're getting into some really fascinating territory. So how were these beings moving these massive stones? We're talking about blocks weighing tons. Did the viewers see any tools or methods being used?
Imagine you're a remote viewer. Your mind's going back in time to the construction site of the Great Pyramid. You see these enormous stones being maneuvered with incredible grace and precision, something that seems impossible with the technology they supposedly had then. Some viewers describe an apparatus with buttons and controls, which suggests a high level of technological control. Others describe the stones as moving as if they were weightless, almost like they were being lifted and placed with, modern construction cranes.
Wow, construction cranes in ancient Egypt. Wild. But it gets even more interesting. Some viewers reported seeing a green mist flowing through the pyramid's internal shafts. What is that about?
Yeah, this green mist detail, it comes up in multiple accounts. The viewers sensed it could be some form of energy, maybe, or perhaps a chemical compound with properties we haven't rediscovered yet.
Okay, green mist, advanced machinery, mysterious beings. It's like we're stepping into a science fiction novel here, but this is supposed to be our history. Speaking of things that sound like they're straight out of sci-fi, some viewers picked up on this sense that the pyramid was more than just a tomb. They described it as a multi-purpose structure, almost like it had all these advanced technological functions.
Yeah, this is where the remote viewing gets really interesting, especially for you, with your interest in the possibilities of ancient technology. Viewers describe the pyramid potentially functioning as a geoelectric power source, an observatory to study the cosmos. And some even sensed it might have been used for manipulating space and time, maybe even as a teleportation device.
Hold on, are we talking about a time machine built into the Great Pyramid? That's just my daldala. But if that's true, what does it mean? Why haven't we found more evidence of this technology?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's one that traditional archaeology has yet to answer. But these remote viewing sessions, they give us these clues, these tantalizing clues. Maybe our understanding of ancient capabilities is totally off.
It certainly seems that way. Now, what about the inside of the pyramid itself? Specifically, those mysterious chambers and shafts. Did the remote viewers learn anything about those?
They did, and this is where it gets even more interesting. In recent years, the Scan Pyramids project, they used those non-invasive techniques, and they discovered a large void within the Great Pyramid, a void that nobody knew about.
Yeah.
But, and here's the kicker, remote viewers described this void, even its potential contents, before it was scientifically confirmed.
No way. They knew about this void before the scientists. What did they say was inside?
Get ready for this. They described a large, sand-filled chamber containing a metallic object, potentially technological in nature. They even pick up on the significance of the subterranean chambers, the unfinished structures, a possible connection to water-based energy generation. They describe these puzzling missions, those are like niches or recesses, found within the structure, the purpose of which we don't know.
Water-based energy, hidden chambers, a mysterious metallic object. Sounds like an Indiana Jones movie. But before we go too far down that rabbit hole, you mentioned earlier the white powder. What's the deal with that?
The white powder. This detail, just like the green mist, pops up in multiple remote viewing sessions that focus on the Great Pyramid. At first it was kind of dismissed, just something insignificant. But then a fascinating discovery was made at another site, the 12 Apostel Zec in Austria. They found a similar white powder there, and guess what? Analysis suggested a possible link to ancient batteries.
Ancient batteries, as in they had electricity. Okay, now I'm seeing why you said we might need to rethink what we know about the past.
Exactly. The evidence, while still circumstantial, is starting to pile up, and it's painting this picture of a civilization that was far more advanced than we give them credit for.
Incredible. But before we jump over to Austria, let's talk about another site in Egypt that seems connected to this whole ancient mystery, the Serapeum.
The Serapeum, this subterranean complex, houses these enormous, precisely crafted stone boxes. And the purpose? Nobody knows for sure. Baffled archaeologists for centuries. But just like the Great Pyramid, the Serapeum has drawn the attention of remote viewers. And their insights, well, they just add another layer of intrigue to this ancient puzzle.
So the Serapeum, we've got these massive stone boxes, perfectly crafted, but no one really knows what they were used for. What about the remote viewers? What did they pick up on when they focused on this place?
One thing that really comes through in the sessions is this sense of urgency. Like, the Serapeum was being used for something very important, but then it had to be abandoned, and quickly.
Abandoned in a hurry. Okay, that sounds kind of ominous. Any clues as to why?
Several viewers described this approaching cataclysmic event, kind of similar to that smoky wave we talked about with the pyramid, almost like they knew something terrible was about to happen, and they had to get out fast.
Okay, so we have this possible connection then between the Great Pyramid and the Serapeum, both of them seemingly threatened by some kind of disaster. Were the viewers any more specific about what this event could have been?
The impressions were very, symbolic, a lot of fear, impending doom, that kind of thing, but no real concrete details about what exactly it was.
Okay, so lots of questions still remain about this whole cataclysm thing. But back to the Serapeum itself, what were they using it for if it wasn't for burials?
The remote viewers consistently describe it as a storage facility, but not for the dead. They sensed that it housed something that vibrated, something that generated energy, possibly like a power source or even some kind of advanced technology. One viewer even compared it to, get this, Nikola Tesla's work with wireless energy transmission.
Tesla. Are we talking wireless energy in ancient Egypt? That's quite a leap, even for remote viewing.
It is, and we always have to remember that these are impressions, interpretations of what the viewers are sensing. But it's a fascinating connection to make, especially with that white powder being found in both locations. If the powder really does point to ancient batteries, it would definitely support the idea that they were harnessing energy in some way, maybe even wirelessly.
Right, it's like all these small details, the green mist, the white powder, the advanced machinery, they all start to fit together into this bigger story, this tapestry of advanced knowledge that we're just starting to uncover. And speaking of hidden knowledge, you mentioned another location with ties to all this, the 12 Apostel Zec in Austria.
Yeah, the 12 Apostel Zec. This site is fascinating because it's got all these layers of history, connections to Roman times, even whispers of Templar activity.
Templars, secret societies, ancient mysteries. This deep dive has it all. So tell me more about the 12 Apostles, Zach. What is it exactly?
So it's this network of tunnels and chambers carved right into the earth. Kind of like the Urge Stele that we'll get to, but a different feel. Hard to describe, but the remote viewing sessions and my own experiences there suggest it was a place of power. Maybe a storehouse for ancient knowledge.
Wait, you've actually been there yourself. What was it like?
It's got this palpable energy, a kind of heaviness that hangs in the air, like a place that just draws you in, makes you want to know its secrets.
Okay, you've definitely piqued my interest. Secrets, you say.
Yeah.
What did the remote viewers see when they looked at this 12 Apostles Zec?
Their interpretations, they were all over the place, but there was this one consistent theme, a gathering place. Some saw it as refuge from harsh conditions, like a safe haven when times were tough. Others saw it as a place to share and protect knowledge, like a library or maybe a center for some kind of spiritual practice.
A gathering place hidden underground. It does make you wonder, what were they gathering for? What kind of knowledge were they protecting? Did the viewers get a sense of that?
There were hints, glimpses into their activities, but nothing concrete, unfortunately. But there's this one detail that really stands out, and this one's connected to my own experience at the 12 Apostles Zec. You see, there's a spot in the Zec marked by this large black stone. You familiar with how some cultures believe that certain stones hold power?
Absolutely. Think of Stonehenge, all those megaliths around the world. Many believe they were positioned for specific astronomical events, or maybe to harness some kind of earth energy.
Exactly. Well, this black stone, it gives off that same vibe, an undeniable energy. I actually brought a quartz crystal with me on one of my visits, and, well, I was intrigued by this energy, so I placed it on the black stone, left it there overnight.
Okay, I have a feeling this is where the story gets really interesting. What happened to your crystal?
I came back the next morning, and something extraordinary had happened. The crystal, which was clear when I left it, now had this strange luminescence to it. And under a UV light, it glowed with this intensity that's not typical of quartz. There were even markings on it, these intricate patterns that weren't there before.
Hold on, the crystal actually changed. What did it look like?
And it's hard to describe. The markings were subtle, almost like etchings. The glow was really noticeable under the UV light. It was as if the crystal had absorbed some of the energy from the black stone and transformed.
That's incredible. Must have been quite a shock to see. Did you ever figure out what caused it?
I talked to some experts, mineralogy people. They were stumped. Never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
But remember how we were talking about remote viewing offering a different perspective? Well, after this happened with the crystal, I decided to see if remote viewing could shed some light on it.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this. What did the viewers say?
So we had this viewer focus on my crystal and how it interacted with the black stone. Now, this viewer knew nothing about my experience, nothing about the crystal, nothing about the black stone, and they described this energy transfer between the two objects, some kind of exchange that left the crystal changed.
That's amazing. So not only did this strange phenomenon occur, but a remote viewer, knowing nothing about it, confirmed an energy exchange took place. That's a pretty strong connection.
It certainly seems to suggest that something remarkable was going on at the 12 Apostles Zec, something we're only starting to understand. And speaking of things we're just beginning to understand.
Let me guess, there's more to the 12 Apostles Zec than meets the eye.
You got it. There's a shaft within the Zec, partially blocked. The remote viewers seem to think it leads to deeper levels that haven't been explored yet. One viewer even described a hidden chamber down there, a place where something important is hidden.
Okay, now we're talking. A hidden chamber within a hidden network of tunnels. What could be down there?
That, my friend, is the million-dollar question. And it's a question we can only speculate about for now.
This is incredible. Potential evidence of advanced technology, like those batteries, a crystal that glows, a mysterious black stone, and now a secret hidden within a hidden chamber. It's like something out of an adventure novel.
And it gets even more intriguing when we factor in the Erdstell, this massive network of underground tunnels throughout Europe.
Right. The Erdstell, you mentioned them earlier. They do seem like a whole other layer of this mystery. But before we get into that, I think we need to take a quick break. This is a lot to process. We'll be right back after this short break.
Okay, so the Erdstell, vast network of tunnels.
Right.
Some of them stretching for miles. And they're carved out of solid rock under Europe. It's crazy.
Yeah, and they're all over the continent, these Erdstells, often dating back to the Middle Ages. At least that's what we think. Their true origins, that's a whole other mystery.
So we're talking about a whole hidden world right there under our feet, and we're just starting to figure it out. What was their purpose, these tunnels? Why go through all that effort to carve them out, especially that some of them are even older than the Middle Ages? That's the million-dollar question. It's puzzled historians and archaeologists forever. Some say storage. Others think escape routes, hiding places, that kind of thing. But then you've got these Erdstell, massive, complex, incredibly precise markings, angles that shouldn't be possible. It's made some people think, well, what if it's evidence of lost technologies? A civilization that was way ahead of its time.
Lost technologies, huh? Like what? Did the remote viewers pick up on anything about how these tunnels were even built?
There's this one session, super interesting. The viewer, they didn't know what they were looking at, right?
Yeah.
Totally blind. They described this drilling tool, said it could cut through rock, super precise, even described the markings it would leave behind. And get this, when we compared those descriptions to the actual markings in some Erdstell, it was uncanny, dead on.
Wait, the remote viewer, knowing nothing about these markings, described a tool that perfectly matches what we see in the Erdstell. That's giving me chills.
It really makes you think, right? What if the Erdstell were made with some kind of advanced drilling tech? Changes everything about how we think about ancient capabilities.
No kidding. It seems like every time we turn around, we're finding more evidence that these ancient civilizations were way more advanced than we give them credit for.
It's true. And remember that whole thing about a cataclysmic event? Well, it pops up again with the Urge Tell. A lot of the viewers, they saw people taking shelter in these tunnels, like they were running from some kind of disaster happening above ground.
Okay, so let's see. We've got potential advanced tech, a global disaster of some kind, and these vast underground networks that could have been used as shelters. It's like we're putting together a puzzle, but the picture is both incredible and kind of terrifying.
You got it. Makes you wonder what these ancient cultures went through, what they knew that we don't. But the Urge Tell, they might just hold the most mind-blowing piece of this whole puzzle.
Okay, you've got to tell me. What is it?
Remember how we talked about the Great Pyramid? How it might have been more than just a tomb? Maybe even some kind of teleportation device.
Yeah, and the 12 Apostles' Eve with that blocked passage possibly leading to a secret chamber. You think it's all connected?
There's this one remote viewing session focused on the Urge Tell. The viewer described people entering this, what they called a shimmering gateway, inside one of the tunnels. They felt movement, a sensation of being transported, like over a huge distance.
Hold on. Are you saying the Urgestell were part of some ancient transportation system?
It's out there, I know, and we got to be careful about jumping to conclusions. But think about it. What if these ancient cultures could not only survive these cataclysmic events, but they could travel huge distances using tech that we can barely even imagine? It's a lot to take in.
It really is. We started with ancient batteries and strange energy fields, and now we're talking about an ancient transportation network that might have spanned continents. This changes everything if it's true.
Right. What other secrets are buried out there, just waiting to be discovered? It really makes you think about what we're missing in the story of humanity.
It's exciting and humbling at the same time. We think we're so advanced, but what if we're just catching up to what they knew thousands of years ago?
It puts things in perspective, that's for sure. And it reminds us that learning is a journey. You never know what you're going to find or where it's going to take you.
No kidding. Well, you've definitely given us a lot to think about. From the pyramids of Egypt to those underground tunnels in Europe, the remote viewing sessions, they offer this glimpse into a past that's way more complex, more mysterious than we could ever imagine. It makes you wonder what other secrets are still out there waiting to be found.
Who knows? But with some open minds, a willingness to look beyond what we think we know, maybe we'll find out.
I'm ready to start digging. Thanks for joining us today on this incredible deep dive into the mysteries of the past. And until next time, keep exploring.